start, actually come on your backs. Have a blanket or maybe two blankets nearby. As we are setting ourselves up a little bit differently. Again, you can adjust if it doesn't feel okay. So we're starting with a little bit of breath awareness and letting the body in a way naturally unfold. You can even have cushions or some support. So I'm going to show you first what we're doing. We haven't started that way yet. So the idea is to have the feet kind of just gently crossing together as the knees kind of then drop out towards the side. So you can, if you have two blocks, you can bring two blocks underneath you. You can roll up a blanket as well. You can have cushions underneath your knees. So make it quite accessible, make it quite soft, so you're not feeling any strain. So there is a little bit of perhaps tension is the wrong word, a little bit of release happening through the hips. So just without really holding the posture where you grip, where the muscles contract, allowing the knees kind of just to naturally open out towards the sides. Your neck, your head, ideally on the floor with your chin a little bit closer towards your chest. That brings a little bit of a stretch into the front body, especially in between the ribs, the pelvis, so that lengthens and releases also the abdominal muscles, and helping making breathing perhaps a little bit easier, a little bit more accessible. And just allowing the body to settle. Palms can be alongside the body, palms facing up. So feel your knees supported. We'll probably be here for, let's say, a couple of minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. So you can adjust the feet and really allow the heaviness of your legs to feel supported by maybe blankets, cushions, maybe blocks. So, and that slight release through the hips, through the pelvis, allows to bring some softness into the body. So just letting the breath flow naturally in through your nose and perhaps all the way down into the belly. If it feels maybe natural, or if it feels a little bit more accessible, you can also bring both hands and maybe rest them on around the area where the navel is, the belly button area. And visualizing or really sensing that you're breathing into the palms of your hands. And exhale, you soften. So let that air flow in through your nose and all the way down into your hands, into your palms. And as you exhale, let the body just soften. So a couple of rounds here. So just with gravity, we are softening through the hips, the inner thighs. And the breath moves down into the lower abdominals. So perhaps focus on the sensation of your breath as you breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, or through perhaps pursed lips. So shoulders release away from your ears, almost drawing, melting into the earth. So lengthening through the abdominals, softening the diaphragm, softening the pelvis, the hips, the inner thighs. So bring just a bit of a calming quality into the body. So if you focus on your breath, maybe experiment with lengthening your exhale. So if you can count your breath. Say if you breathe in for the count of 3, maybe exhale to the count of 4 or 5 or 6. So the body really releases into the earth, softens. So stay with your breath cycle for another 5 breaths. So it's sometimes nice just to hit the pause button, especially after maybe a long, stressful day. So take this moment for yourself tonight. Breathing into your hands and exhaling, letting the torso, letting the tummy, pelvis soften. So the inhale maybe might slightly increase that curve in your lower back, and the exhale kind of softens it, releases that curve down. So with your next inhale, maybe bring movement into your neck, so you're rocking your head from side to side. You can open your eyes if you had your eyes closed. Just softening here, your neck, your head, as you rock from your left ear towards your right ear. So even just that release for the back of your neck. So this is a nice way for the body to connect with the earth. So you can slowly maybe bring your knees together. So bend your knees so both feet are placed on the floor. Knees point up towards the ceiling. We are softening the lower back into the earth. And then draw your right knee towards your chest. So let it just hover here. So with your inhale, you may feel you're almost slightly pushing your leg away from you. On the exhale, gently bring it closer to you. You can extend that left leg away from you. So we are stretching it out, releasing through the left hip flexor, through the left side of the psoas. The psoas also linked to any tension in the body. So bring just a bit of a natural movement into the body by just very softly, very small movements. Bring your knee away from you on the inhale, on the exhale, slowly drawing the knee closer to you. So shoulders relax. So inhale, the knee moves away from you. Exhale, the knee comes closer to you. So slow down the movement as well. So less is more. You still get the same benefits out, perhaps even more, as the breath here plays that magic role just to at least stretch that area around the lower back, your buttocks. So then if you're the next time you bring your right knee closer towards your chest, change that angle slightly so the right knee points a little bit more towards the right armpit, towards the right shoulder. And hold onto your shin or even to the back of your thigh, whatever feels most accessible here for a few breaths. So we're not completely in a yin practice, but kind of in between, more like a restorative and a yin practice. So just that you feel like the body starts to tap into that parasympathetic nervous system. You can also make it more like small movements. Again, on the inhale, move the knee away from you. Exhale, slowly draw the knee closer. So which brings relief to maybe any sensations on the lower back. Always make it accessible. If it feels compressed for some reason around the abdominal area, make a little bit more space. So bring it into an area, into a direction that gives you a benefit without compressing or just restricting anything. Lovely. So hold that knee onto the thigh, perhaps for another 2 to 3 breaths. And also maybe notice how does the body respond? So resist the temptation to achieve anything, so to perform anything. We're coming back into that being state. So as you still hold onto your right knee, right thigh, bend your left knee so the foot is placed onto the earth, knee points up. Extend that right leg up towards the ceiling. Give it a little bit of a shake. Flex and point the right foot, maybe even circle through that right ankle. Good. Perhaps let the whole leg kind of hover in circles. So keeping the leg straight or as straight as it feels okay. And make circles with your leg. Almost imagine you're drawing a circle with your big toe perhaps. So keep them perhaps small, keep them bigger, just medium circles. So just the weight of your leg releases once more into the earth. The right side of your pelvis drops into the earth. And then bring that circling back to stillness. Bend your right knee and hold on perhaps to your right calf, to your right shin as you draw that right thigh, the right knee closer towards the earth. So it's that half a happy baby posture. Once more, we are stretching, we are lengthening that lower back into the earth. So you can hold it here, perhaps a gentle, kind of just a draw, more, keep it more dynamic as you draw that knee towards the earth. Then you kind of release as if you want to kick that ceiling away from you. So we are releasing, we are opening through the hips. So the knee stays bent. You're just kind of drawing it towards the right armpit. If you feel you can access holding onto the outside of your right foot, feel free to hold onto the outside of your right foot. Otherwise, just keep holding on to your shin, to your calf. Good. So there's a lot of tension also stored in our hips. We are literally just squeezing that tension out. Lovely. Last one here. And then extend that leg again, give it a bit of a shake, and then place the right foot down. Good. Right side done. Left side, begin to hover your left knee. So bring that left knee towards your chest. You can hold onto your shin to the back of your left thigh. Again, letting just the weight of your left leg settle. So no doing. So nothing to do, just being here. With every kind of exhale, feel there's a little bit more of a stiffness or tightness. Releasing. So on the inhale, you can gently move that knee away from you. Exhale, draw it a little closer. So kind of keep the knee pointing towards, almost towards the face or towards the right side of or towards your right ear. Sorry, left ear. So inhale, move it away. Exhale, gently draw it towards your chest. So even here, that gentle movement has quite deep impact on the lower back and the hip and also digestive system. Gentle kind of hugging, squeezing. And then direct that knee out towards the left arm. But you can even turn your leg a little bit. So you can hold onto your shin, kind of direct the knee towards the left. So your foot might point more towards the right knee, which is bent. You can also extend your right leg away from you. How does that feel? So we're releasing also for the right psoas, the right hip flexor. So inhale, gently move it away from you. Exhale, draw it closer. So again, stay within any limit. So don't push or don't kind of achieve a certain stretch. Just tap into those sensations. Again, when we are, especially at this time of the year, so less is more, keep that focus on nourishment, nurturing. I think we are striving way too much in life. So gentle hugging here. Perhaps even just let the leg rest if that feels good. Might feel still feeling or getting heavier and heavier. So then extend the left leg up as you bring your right knee in. So the right foot is on the floor, knee points up towards the ceiling. Shake your left leg out. And then begin to bend your left knee as you move your hands onto your left shin, your left calf, and then gently draw the whole kind of the area between your hip bone and the knee towards the outside of your left kind of rib cage. So your knee, your thigh kind of just slides past the left side of your body. Even just that action towards, directing that knee, the thigh towards that area. So it's a nice way to tap into that relaxation response. You can always bring your hands further towards your ankle, towards your foot, maybe even to the outside of your left foot. So just finding here any axis that works. So no holding of the breath. So just holding postures, but not the breath. Lovely. Last one here. And extend that left leg up again. Draw circles with your legs. So you just let the leg hover. Big circles, smaller circles. Hands can be alongside the body. Circling for the left side. So noticing how does the pelvis still rocks quite naturally. So it might lift just softly on the right side, maybe lift a little bit more on the left side. But you always keep that connection with the floor as you circle. One more breath here, one more circle. And then hug both knees towards your chest. Perhaps lift your nose, your shoulders towards your knees, curl together like a little ball. Exhale. And then coming back onto the earth. So from here, roll over to one side and coming into a kind of half seated position. So keeping it quite good. I'm just cleaning up here. So come into that kind of deer position, that kind of 99 position. So from sitting here, swing your legs perhaps towards the left side. You can always, by the way, take a blanket underneath your perhaps right hip. So you're just sitting up a little bit higher. That's always possible. And again, just move here a little bit. Excuse the mess. I'm just moving those pillows out to the side. So just exploring again. It's a little bit of a hip. So you're leaning forward towards the side, exploring. Perhaps bringing arms over. So just finding a little bit of stretch and length through the body. You can have your knees quite closely together. You can have your legs a little bit further away, so you're almost sitting more open. And it's different for all of us, different openness, even just the way our hip bones connect to the pelvis. So exploring and maybe hovering here. So keep it within a limit that doesn't cause any discomfort, any cramps. If that's the case, then less is more. So just exploring a little bit more unconventional sitting, unconventional movement. So for any twist, if you even just look over your shoulder, make sure your spine is nice and long. So arm movement can be even here. So you're stretching out to the sides. Over time, it feels a little bit more accessible. Again, explore different movements, so there's no textbook kind of posture. So just giving you some ideas. In leaning forwards. So perhaps exploring on your fingertips. So kind of half a circle as you move from one side to the other, looking over your shoulder, kind of moving back. Lovely. If you feel you want to lift up, so I've got my legs to the left and I'm putting my right hand down, lifting up for the through the hips. So you're stretching, coming back down, maybe a little bit here. You can always keep it more dynamic. Inhale, lengthen, maybe big arm circle. Open. Lovely. So stretching and lengthening. If you want, you can even have one leg stretched out, lifting it up. So you're resting literally on your left, the inside of your left foot. Bring the knee back. So again, just ironing out any creases. Seeking that length, maybe even staying here for a little bit longer. Keep that top arm even just resting here. Good. Lovely. And then slowly find your way into kind of neutral. So you can rock onto your bottom, maybe a little bit of a sway of your, so you can kind of windscreen wiping your legs as you're sitting. You can move your body in the opposite direction. So emphasis on lifting through the chest. Maybe a little bit of a stretch for your shoulder. Good. And then kind of transition over to the second side. So your legs are over to the second side. Again, might take a little while to settle into that position. You can take your blanket again if you want to sit up a little bit higher. Always possible. And again, just gentle exploration. So certain sides might still feel a little bit inaccessible at this point. But using even your arms as well, a bit of a side stretch. Nice. So now achieving, kind of let yourself sway, feel the weight distribution, just that heaviness from one side to the other. Good, and coming back, maybe leaning forward, exploring, perhaps lengthening, looking over your shoulder. More of a twist, then get into the area where it feels a little bit more restricted. Again, just careful exploration. Good. Stretching here, maybe even just softening, releasing. So keep it so it works for your energy level, for your body. And once you're ready, you may want to lift up again, kicking the hips forward, stretching. Lovely. Coming back down. Maybe even just bring the arms in the opposite direction. You might find your own little flow, your own little swing. Stretching. Good. We all need different things. We all have certain areas that feel tighter than usual. Lovely. Good. Last one here, perhaps as you take flight. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Maybe even just stay for a couple of breaths as your hips kind of shift forwards. Good. And then swivel back into sitting. So you rock onto your spine again, more of a windscreen wiper. So you bring your hips, your knees back to center. Good. So no Monday class without a downward dog. So you can transition onto all fours. Keep those cat and cows in a way where you travel more through your chest, so you can keep your arms wide, perhaps even having your fingers, your hands pointing inwards as you just kind of travel through your shoulders. You dip one shoulder down. So maybe you circle back, arching the spine, flexing the spine. So incorporating those kind of flowing cat and cows So rounding chin towards your chest, stretching to the upper back, then having more of a back bend as you swim through. Maybe you want to stay here again, that kind of wiggling through your chest, releasing any tension in your upper body. Good. So, and then you can prepare yourself for curling the toes under. Can you keep that kind of rocking movement here and eventually lifting your knees, your hips up towards the ceiling, pedaling your feet, maybe walking your feet. So maybe you want to nod your head, look, I'm nodding, saying yes, saying no. Bring your knees down again. Continue that kind of rocking, so switch between maybe the tabletop, release, staying more child's pose if you want, and then rocking back up into downward dog. Bending perhaps one knee at a time, stretching through those calves. Which calf feels a bit tighter? Does it start to get a little looser as we are pedaling our feet? Coming back down, maybe just a bit like a spider. So still a continuous movement in a way, but finding those areas that need a bit more attention. Again, you can stay up in downward dog again. If you want, you can lift one leg up, maybe bend one knee. So stay within your energy levels, how the body feels. Perhaps crisscrossing your legs, zigzagging your legs. Good. And then make your way slowly from downward dog into tabletop and find that stillness. So depending on knee issues, you can always bring, say, a big cushion, say here, that feels easier. You might want to almost sit here. Support your forehead, one fist on top of the other. So lengthening through your spine. Keeping perhaps the knees a little wider so there's no compression for the stomach. Come back to your breath from the beginning. So breathing in through your nose and make that exhale slightly longer than the inhale. So as you focus on lengthening the exhale, does it feel like the body starts to get heavy, almost sinking more towards the floor? So imagine you're lengthening your spine from the back of your head towards the tailbone. Maybe a little bit of shifting through your hips, so you're kind of as if you do a bit like hip circles or some bit of belly dance. So just keeping those hips also soft. Lovely. Stay for 2 more breaths. And then find your way up to tabletop again. So threading the needle. So from all fours, again, knees a little bit wider. If it feels uncomfy on your wrists, you can come onto forearms as well. So one arm goes out to the sides, either parallel, or if you want, you can open up towards the ceiling and then thread it through. So keep it dynamic to start with. Inhale. Keep your neck where it feels comfortable. You can look all the way up towards the arm, or you can just keep your gaze down and just your arm lifts. So it's different levels, comfort levels for your neck. So keep it where it feels soft. Good, thread it through. So optional here, you can continue more dynamic movements, or you can keep that right arm on the floor as you bring your right ear perhaps towards the floor as well. So opening here, you can stretch your left arm forward. So it's more of a static hold. Again, it's optional. If it feels uncomfy, whether it's for your neck or for your shoulder, do it more dynamically. So it's a twist for your upper back, mid back. So if you stay more statically, breathe into that shoulder blade, the right shoulder blade that perhaps is placed on the floor, or just kind of hanging in there, that where that bend occurs. Lovely. If you're staying more statically, slowly make your way out of the posture. So perhaps a little bit of a wiggle here. So you can shift your hips towards the left and to the right, looking over your left shoulder, looking over your right shoulder. So that brings just a natural kind of stretch into the waist, into the hip area. So allow your neck also just to soften here. So you achieved it by bringing your chin just a little closer towards your chest. Right, then over to the second side. So you can either keep your arm parallel or up, and then soften in that supporting elbow as you reach the arm through. So find that release for your upper back, for the shoulders. Inhale and slowly exhale. Lovely. So you decide whether you want to keep it more dynamic, where your neck is. You can also keep your forearm down. If your forearm is down, you can always just naturally bend it and rest your ear on that forearm. So the bottom is intentionally a little bit higher up. That adds maybe a little bit more of intensity. So perhaps even pretend you're rolling onto that shoulder. So you're just gently pushing the weight into that arm. So that helps opening through the shoulder blades a little bit more. So just a very subtle change, very subtle weight transfer. If you are in a static hold, stay for another 2 breaths, please. And then slowly find your way back up into tabletop. Again, any wiggle here. So you can shift your bottom, but like almost bring that movement into the spine. So it loves to move in different dimensions. And then bring your big toes together. Knees out to the sides. Again, for knee issues, you can bring blanket in here. So it's sitting back, and we're bringing the left arm into the right, towards the right side of our mat. So you can rest your forehead on your right forearm. And keep that left arm quite engaged, quite active. So perhaps you want to come onto those spider fingers, those tripod fingers. That means your palm lifts, your elbow lifts, maybe even your armpit lifts as well. And bring those breaths into that area. So wherever you feel there's something stretching, something happening, send that breath into that area. So stay for 2 more breaths, please. And then slowly transition towards the center. So maybe if you want, you can bring the bottom up a little bit, rearrange, shifting the bottom back, bring your right hand towards the left corner of your mat, the long edge of your mat. And Same movement here. So you can almost attempt to walk your fingertips further towards that corner. So the more you reach with your bottom back and your arm forward, the more intense or the deeper that sensation, that stretch might come across. Again, your arm can be on the floor, or you can lift through your fingertips, your palms, the elbow, and the armpit. So while the stretch is naturally happening, you can use the breath to almost multiply that stretch. So directing the breath into the right side of your body. Ribcage, waist, perhaps more the upper arm, wherever there's a little bit of more sensation happening, more spaciousness. Good. And then slowly bring your arm back to center, come back out into tabletop. A little bit of a wiggle here. Maybe you feel longer on both sides. Perhaps lift up. So optional here, you can once more stretch out. Downward dog. So maybe pedaling it out, maybe one leg up, maybe then the opposite leg up, perhaps crossing over, perhaps both toes point to the long edge of your mat, bending both knees. So experiment here with your downward dogs. If you feel quite energetic and you feel a bit frustrated, maybe roll into a plank and then push back up into downward dog. So that just gets rid of some strong energy into the body. So it kind of just a movement, moving forwards and backwards. Makes also the body a little bit tired if you still have excess energy. Oh, lovely. And then coming back onto all fours. Good. Still quite a bit of excess energy. And then into seated position. So take a blanket, please, and bring it underneath your bottom. So we're sitting up a little bit higher. That's intended. You can have your feet either closely together or a little bit further apart. So we're moving into a forward fold. Whoopsie. So that increased, sitting up a little bit higher allows the pelvis to tilt forward. So you might want to wiggle here a little bit. You can even shift forwards a little bit. If you have a block, you may want to bring that block underneath, but keep it so it's a little bit of an edge. So, and from here, bring your hands alongside the body. And we're almost going a little bit in stages as we lean forward. So that stretches through your hamstrings. If it feels uncomfortable on your knees, perhaps take another blanket, maybe bring that blanket underneath your knees so they're a little bit more supported rather than just feeling hyperextended. And allow the full weight of your body, upper body, to release over your thighs. So we're going to be here for a couple of moments, probably longer than usual. If something feels uncomfortable, you can always lift your upper body up and then soften it over your thighs, over your legs. So you can use it even with your breath. On the inhale, you literally lift up, and on the exhale, you soften over your legs. So it's a very kind of good illustration how the breath impacts movement. You can play with different positions of your feet. So your feet could be relaxed, your feet could be pointed, or the toes drawn closer towards your face. So continue to breathe quite regularly as we are releasing here into that posture. Releases some perhaps tightness in the back, but also in our legs. So give your mind an anchor. Let the anchor perhaps be your breath. We'll rise on the inhale, exhale, moving closer towards the earth, even if it's perhaps just a little bit, tiny bit. So if it feels restricting from the belly, have your knees or have your thighs just a little bit further apart. So with your next inhale, slowly come back up to seated. Then bring your hands behind you. You can stay exactly where you are. Your fingertips can point either towards your bottom or out to the sides. So literally bringing our spine the opposite direction. So roll the shoulders as you lift your chest, squeezing the shoulder blades together. So literally staying that gentle forward in the gentle back bend for a little bit longer. It may be a sensation for your upper arms. So lifting through the chest, avoid throwing the head back. So keeping your head pointing forward, maybe the chin gently moves closer towards the chest, which may generate a bit of a stretch for the back of your neck. So softening here into that posture as much as possible. Lovely. One more breath. And then find your way back into neutral. Maybe circle through your fists, through your wrists. Good. Maybe check out your legs. So coming, so you can stay on the blanket. Have one knee bent. You can bring once more either the cushion underneath that knee that's bent or rolled up blanket, maybe even a block. So block, blanket, maybe both. So make it accessible. So support that knee. So turn your upper body. I think we have all different legs, I should say. So turn your upper body towards that bent knee and begin to lean towards that extended leg. So we're coming into side stretch. So you can come up to seated and then lean over to that leg. Again, more dynamic to start with. Keep it as a side bend. So we are not leaning forward as we just had it for. It's a side bend. So you literally, the shoulders are almost stacked on top of each other. The belly button points away from or points towards that bent knee. So you can stay for a little bit longer. If it feels okay, bring that top arm up and over. So you're stretching, you're lengthening. And then big arm circle as you may even come up to seated. So creating length through the side body that also draws out some tension or some heat out of the body. So do it very mindfully. Also help your body up to seated. So your spine is not carrying that load. So notice how much lever that arm actually has, that top arm. It can just dangle here. It can just soften. Good. Lovely. Last one here. Perhaps stay for 2 breaths. Let that arm hang. Notice your neck. So just keep it in a position where that doesn't cause any strain. And then big arm circle as you come back up to seated. Stay where you are, keeping the spine long. Take your opposite hand onto that bent knee as you gently move into a twist, looking over that shoulder. So as we all have different legs. So I've got my left leg bent. I look and turn over towards my left shoulder. So keep that length through the spine. So lovely, long, straight, upright backs. So you're literally walking up a spiral staircase. Every inhale, you lengthen, exhale. you twist a little bit more towards the left side, for example, or towards the right side if it's your right knee bent. You're then turning back to center, just very slowly unravel. A little bit of movement, even for your shoulders, for your neck. Good. And then switch sides. So extend one leg, bring the opposite leg in, and switch maybe to support, whatever it is, maybe block and blanket, maybe cushion and blanket. So perhaps take a moment just to get the setup right. You might not need one. It's just suggesting so that the leg doesn't feel too heavy. So navel, again, that first action, turn the upper body. And then allow just yourself to lean to that side, to one side. So do it very mindfully. Find more like without the head leading. So it's more the lower spine, the mid spine, and then the upper spine releasing. But just take it in stages. So as you might feel, even the neck as releases here may cause maybe a welcome stretch, maybe it's a very uncomfortable stretch. So if it's uncomfortable, keep your head more engaged. So using again that traction to keeping the shoulders stacked, your navel pointing towards that bent knee. And if you feel ready, maybe take that upper arm up and over. Explore here. Good. Using the opposite arm to help yourself back up to seated. So it feels easier. So there is a release happening. So avoid holding the breath, but you can hold the posture. So perhaps make the arm quite active as if you're reaching towards, or maybe towards the toe, maybe over the toe. So as you bring different qualities into the stretch, you can make it as active or as passive as you want. So look at both, or are both sitting bones connected with the earth? If one feels maybe lifting up a little bit, so keep the sitting bones down and then lean over towards one side. If the top arm is too heavy, just continue rocking into the posture and then back up. The side bends are always nice. They really take any heat out of the body. Good. Perhaps last one here, you can always stay for a little bit longer. Keep the arm either just dangly, heavy, maybe a little bit more engaged. Use the breath to accentuate whatever you're holding, whatever your posture you're in. And in big arm circle, as you move into that twist, you can bring that opposite hand onto that knee. Lengthen first, and then turn. Almost from the belly button, from the lower ribs. So lengthening on the inhale and then twisting on the exhale. So the neck, your head is literally the last thing that turns. So visualize your kind of unwinding from the lower ribs, belly button area. Two more breaths. And slowly returning back. So do it, also take it very slowly. And bring your legs back out. Maybe give yourself a little bit of padding. Any movement for your shoulders, for your neck. Lovely. And then transition onto your back again. So we have one figure four stretch on either leg, and then we can settle into it. Because you can already put maybe your blanket underneath your neck, underneath your head, keep it supported, knees bent, and then cross one leg over. So you can have a gentle push of your hand here. That's option number one. If you want, you can bring that left leg in towards you. So no need to use the upper body. You can keep your arms relaxed on the floor. You can just hold on here, maybe just sway a little bit from side to side. Again, depends on hip mobility. Perhaps even just staying here and just rocking, maybe even your legs from side to side. So we are releasing the outer hip. You can keep the foot flexed. So with the foot flexed, you activate the whole leg from your hip bone, your knee towards the shin and the ankle. So tap back into your breath. Regular, smooth inhale and exhale. Good. So then change sides. Bring one foot down, cross the opposite leg over. So you can stay here. Just gently push against your left thigh, your left knee. Perhaps coming to the tiptoes of your right foot, maybe even lifting that right leg towards you. Breathing through those sensations. Good, maybe a little bit of swaying, maybe you're holding your arms, maybe flat on the floor, shoulders melting into the earth. Perhaps stick your tongue out. So just drawing any tension out of your face. So really tongue sticks out. Maybe even let your eyes look up towards the ceiling so your tongue sticks out. Eyes look up. Good. Good. And then bring both feet down and just find your relaxation posture. So you can use maybe anything you have, even the cushion. You can just pop it underneath your knees, underneath your thighs. So keeping your legs quite soft, supported. Blanket underneath your head, maybe you're underneath your knees. So make it quite comfortable. Perhaps even lie on your side. Eyes can be closed or soft. And then you can even bring maybe a blanket just on top of your belly, so just slight weight. Sometimes it's very comforting, and you know how the breath then also travels through the body. So, and then just allow yourself to arrive here once more on your mat. So nothing to do, nowhere to go. Let the feet roll out open, even if your knees are slightly bent. So you might sense your attention towards presence, towards awake awareness, open heart, open-hearted awareness. Extending the in-breath and the out-breath. Taking a few long, deep breaths, inhaling and filling the lungs. And slow out breath. You feel the sensations as they leave the nostrils, relaxing outward. And again, inhaling deeply, fully. And slowing that out breath, letting go. Inhaling deeply, exhaling slowly. And then just go back to its natural rhythm, feeling the possibility of relaxing with the inflow and the outflow of the breath. Taking some moments to scan through the body and sense what you might want to let go a little, soften, be more at ease. You might soften the eyes, the areas around the eyes. Let the brows be smooth. Not clenching your jaw. Relaxing the root of your tongue. Letting the shoulders fall away from your neck. Not relaxing from the inside out, just softening. And see if you can feel kind of movement of sensation inside the shoulders. It's dissolving. So let your hands be soft. And see if you can feel the hands from the inside out. Maybe the tingling, vibrating that's there. And then softening the belly. Being aware of the sensations in the whole abdominal region. Bring awareness inside the pelvic region. Feeling sensations and the energy that's there. Sensing the length and the heaviness of your legs. Maybe you can feel the feet from the inside out. Maybe they're also tingling but vibrating. Just widening the lens to include the whole field of those bodily sensations. Just sensing the quality of presence that's here right now. The awareness that's including the sensations, the movement of your breath. Relaxed, awake awareness. Sensing this moment to moment experience right here. Your whole body is at ease. The mind will also naturally start to drift off. And just relaxing into this moment. And then very slowly and mindfully guide your awareness back to your breath. Bring those deeper, fuller breaths back into your body, filling your lungs, filling the whole body with oxygen. Perhaps wiggle your fingers, your toes, maybe rock your head from side to side. Maybe you want to give yourself a good stretch, stretching from fingertips to toes. Best stretch of the day. And hugging your knees into your chest. Maybe gentle rocking so you can hold onto your shins, to the backs of your thighs. Whatever you can reach, whatever you can catch. And allow yourself to kind of rock just naturally onto one side. And find your way back into any seated position. So one more time, you can bring your arms up. Yeah, you can stretch up. Combine it with a deep breath. And then guide your hands back towards your heart center. Good. Chin towards your chest. Bow yourself, or thank yourself for making time tonight. Namaste.